Alright guys, as for the next part, as you can see here, we've pulled apart the engine. See, it's out because turning it over was just too hard. And so if you look down at the pistons, there's wear on the skirt. And now this engine's never run. It's only been turned over by the starter. And if we look down at the bearings, you know, they're okay. Then we have the crank down there. Those bearings look fine. And now if we look here, here's another one of the third pistons. You can see it's got some pretty good wear on there. Now if we look inside the cylinders, it's not looking too bad. I don't see any skirt wear anywhere. Now the cross hatching's still there, but this has got to be it. And I think what I'm going to do, instead of getting different pistons, I'm going to just take this to the machine shop and have them take out itty bitty amount, and then we'll put it all back together. And because obviously we have some wear from the skirt, and that must be just causing the friction keeping us from turning over. That's the only thing that makes sense. Bearings look fine, all that stuff looks fine. You know, I can see a difference right here between here and there. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me clean it up a little bit. Right, you guys see that where it changes right there? I don't know if maybe that has something to do with it. Now, let's look here. I mean, there's definitely a different color there. I wonder if that has anything to do with it, but the piston shouldn't go down much further than that. I think that's about as deep as it goes, as the rings would hit right in here. So maybe the skirt is just wearing down here and they didn't beef that out a little bit. I cannot feel any difference, so I don't know, but that's what we're gonna do. So that's the last update for a little bit, and we'll take this guy and get new gaskets, new head bolts, new crank bolts, all those stretch ones. And one of the rings broke on this guy, popping them out for whatever reason. I probably might have been a little crooked, but that's our next update. So next time we come through, I guess I'll show the machine one, or maybe I just won't post this for a little bit and then we'll get it machined. It should only take a few days. So y'all take care. See you. Welcome back. Now, if I remember correctly, the last time we left off, I had sent the cylinders off to get machined to try and get those pistons to fit. And sure enough, I took it to a racing type machine shop, and he mentioned that he was surprised I could even get those pistons in because they were oversized, and apparently the sleeves were not, even though I matched up the part numbers on the pistons. Or apparently I matched up the wrong thing. And he took off 7/1000ths of an inch off of each cylinder, when he said roughly a sheet of paper is 3/1000ths of an inch. So you figure 2 sheets of paper and maybe a little bit more. And that's all it took. And so I put everything back together as far as the internals, timing, and that stuff. And now we're going to put this engine back in. And we'll see if we can't fire it up without the turbo. I will say that the pistons going in, I can now move them in the sleeve with my hands, just pushing them. There's resistance, but not nearly as much before. I think before I even had to use a rubber mallet to get them to move. So we're looking pretty good. Let's get this guy in, and we'll see if he fires up, fingers crossed, right? We have just about everything else replaced. And I did use new head bolts that are stretch, new connecting rod bolts, and a new head gasket. Everything else is the original. Here we go. All right, guys, so a quick note about putting this engine back in and getting everything together. I mentioned about the hoses. Make sure you have them on the right side, or excuse me, the correct side of the engine mounts before you lay it in. I get this guy in about 3/4 in, connect up the starter, connect up my grounds, make sure all my tubes are going the right way. You got to watch with your wires as well when you put them in that they're on the right side of the hoses. If it's loose up here, it's a little bit easier, you know, to get around. Next, after you get the engine in, you have to put your drive shaft in first, and that's because you got to push that collar back and put that little ring on the drive shaft so it doesn't go out. I saw another video and I did something similar, or have somebody help you, but just have somebody, I put a big 6x6 in here, kind of wedge it in here and have somebody hold it, because otherwise when you push it back here to get the collar back, you just put the drive shaft back. So after the drive shaft, then you put in your muffler canister, then you can put in your supercharger, and then you can put in your extra muffler piece. I find that's the best order. If you don't get the canister in before the supercharger, it's very difficult to get in. Maybe you can't get it in, I don't know. So make sure you get the muffler canister, you know, your little sound deadener down here, in, then the supercharger, then your muffler. And I also, before I even put it all the way down, I connected up all these hoses in the back, so I could lift it up a little bit and get underneath there, because these clamps, I think there's like 5 or 6 hoses back here that need to go in, and I still got to put my supercharger on. But there's 5 or 6 hoses, and trying to get to all these screws is just painful. One other thing, so I actually did start this up yesterday, and I apologize. I had some neighbors over, and I don't videotape with anybody else around generally. And it fired right up. So that's why I went back and started putting all this other stuff in. So now we just got our supercharger hose, and then we got our jet pump to put in, and then we'll actually put it on a trailer. Or actually, I'll probably put the trailer out and just wheel my stand out and put it right here on the edge and hook up some water, and we'll fire it up and see how well we can do. It sounded good yesterday, even without the muffler. Oh, I know one thing I was going to say. That clamp for this, the muffler to the exhaust manifold, is not metal, this little nut and bolt right here. So if you drop it like I did and it goes underneath, oh man, it took me like an hour to get with a camera and like a 10 gauge wire trying to pull it out. So be real careful with this guy, because some of the stuff like sockets and screws are easier to get out with a magnet if you drop them down there, but this guy is aluminum and he will not magnetize, and you're going to have to get your hands down in there to get them. So let's finish up with the jet pump, which I have sitting over there, and we'll get going. All right, guys, we got everything put together. I'm gonna have to do some steering tunes, and possibly for the reverse shaft. That looks okay. Maybe fine tune a little bit. Let's plug her in, and I'll show you firing up real quick. All right, the speedometer didn't move. It used to, but it doesn't now. The RPM did. And I think we should just say fuel low as a chirp, possibly. So let's see. Let's fire it up. Oh, it almost did. Come on. Dang it. Let's get the jump box. Just a little bit extra resistance, I guess, with that new pump on. Okay, got the jump box, and I forgot I also have the supercharger on there now too, so a little bit of extra everything. Let's see what we can do. Come on, baby. Almost did. No, not. Got the override on. Come on.